Hello, this is Jerry Mitchell, and we are back with another episode of the Libertarian Uncensored podcast. And so let's get right into it. YouTuber Ruby Frank, charged with 6 counts of aggravated child abuse after 2 kids hospitalized from Frosty Slawman. That's a post from the, looks like it's been a private video now, but it's a YouTube post from, someone, and yeah, I definitely would agree that that's not good. I would because we would consider that a NAP violation, and I think she should be punished with the NAP violation as a result, punished as a result since she violated the NAP. Next, we have Kenosha police officer Pablo Torres, who appeared in GOP ad, chokeslams woman seconds after she asked for identification. 8/7/2023. From Kage blah blah blah, and that's a YouTube video from Kenosha County I, and I definitely would agree that's not good. That's why you can't trust these police officers. They are foot soldiers of the state, and you can't trust the state or anyone who operates in proximity to it, I would say. Then we have Jim Jordan. And Wisconsin Republicans know the law. They just don't care. Conservatism is no longer defined by resistance to liberal progress. It's all about destroying the pillars of our democracy. From NewRepublic.com by Chi-Town20. And I agree with .com by Omega Phallic, even though it has 9 downvotes currently. The shit's getting old and boring. Plus the Dems are just as bad for democracy, but are corrupt parties that are democratically... Both are corrupt parties that are democratically coercive, and don't give those wines of both sides. And it's still not a thing. It's not a pissing contest. Both parties blow chucks. I agree there, But most people only care that the other party blows chucks. They don't care that their own party does it, and that's why I think we gotta call them out that they really are just a uniparty. I would say. And we have Vivek Ramaswamy struggles to explain why he previously said Donald Trump engaged in downright abhorrent behavior that makes him a danger to democracy, and that's from Twitter.com by Donald Key, and that's a tweet from Mehdi Hassan. And I definitely would agree, but politicians, I would say they're kind of inherently flip-floppers, and that's just really not surprising when they do this, I would say. They're all politicians are kind of flip-floppers like that, I would say. They change their... if you don't like a politician's position, just wait a week or so, and it might just change, Then we have wokeness is a totalitarian, brainwashing cult, replete with ritual self-abnegation and prostration. Jim Jones is nothing on these woke cult leaders from Right Correct and Well on Twitter, and I posted that, and I said, it's progressivism as spirituality. The atheist left needed to find something to believe in, and this is the end result. Then we have retrospectator video on possible path to civil war, and that's 2 paths to civil war by, what's the guy's name, retrospectator, and I personally don't think we'll have civil war, because I don't think people are competent enough to do it, and just yelling on social media is a lot easier for pretty much all involved anyway, so I think we're just going to keep social media stuff, just doing everything on social media for the foreseeable future when it comes to politics. No clear penalty for violating a New Mexico public health order on guns from Source New Mexico, and I posted that, and I said, that means the state and its foot soldiers and the police have a blank check to do whatever they want. But that's pretty much always what they do regardless, The state can justify doing whatever it wants to, and there's usually nothing you can do about it, sadly. Then we have, turns out, the rationale for occupational licensing is very weak, from Mercatus.org from My Circle Jerk, and that is, yeah. And I would agree that, I don't think we should have occupational licensing. I think it's just a way to gatekeep people from working, and the state really loves to do that. It loves to make working as hard as possible. That's why it's so hard for people to get jobs in this country. Work is just too hard to get because the state has too many restrictions. Then we have, in your opinion, does government have the ability to largely do whatever it wants, regardless of what the Constitution says to the contrary, from Michael Mouse on Twitter? And I said, the answer is 100% yes, I would say. The Constitution and Bill of Rights are pretty much nothing but toilet paper to the U.S. government of today. Then we have capitalism versus collective soul. and that's from Nathan RH. And it's a pretty long post, so I don't know if I'll read all of it. But I said, I think if people want to form voluntary collectives, they should be able to do so, but they shouldn't force others to join them if they don't want to. Notice how you never see me complain about stuff like this. And I linked to a post about the Acorn Community Farm in Virginia. That's an anarchist, egalitarian, industrial communities. I never complain about the industrial communities because everyone's there voluntarily. But people want to impose that stuff onto other people, and that's where I have a problem. Then we have, I support gun safety, but there is no such thing as a state public health emergency exception to the U.S. Constitution, from David Hogg on Twitter. And I said, when even David Hogg says it goes too far, somebody fucked up. And an edit Michael knows goes the other way for some idiotic reason. So people, it's good to see someone's at least trying for the Constitution. No one really cares about the Constitution at this point. I'm glad at least he's not saying, because the state can already declare a public health emergency and just do whatever it wants, pretty much, because they have the force on their side. But I'm at least glad that some people are standing up to that, I would say. Then we have IDK. I'd say they are architect of the Iraq War, 500,000 plus casualties, including 4,500 American service members, and a price tag of $3 trillion, and policies which feature torture and illegal domestic spying, qualifies as a pretty big threat to the Republic, from Glenn Jacobs on Twitter. And I posted that, and I said, I personally don't care for Trump, but Cheney can suck it. Remember, Cheney had personal investments in companies like Halliburton and Raytheon when he pushed through the Iraq War. Then we have True First. By the way, you couldn't put it in the meme on the Reddit sub Libertarian meme, so here it is. And this is a meme across from the Libertarian subreddit. It's by Baton14. Does he bite? No, but he can hurt you in other ways. And it's the dog says to their guy in a Republican shirt, Republicans never actually reach sides from the government, and he cries. And I think, yeah, that's true. The Republicans are essentially, as Michael Mouse likes to say, they are progressives driving the speed limit. They are pretty much just controlled opposition. They'll bend over pretty much every time unless it's an issue they really, really care about, like abortion. Sometimes they'll do something that looks like they overturned Roe v. Wade. But other than that, they're pretty much always just control opposition. They'll just walk right over as the Democrats keep shifting the Overton window further and further to the left. The government as resource allocator is the next post, and I posted that, and I said, it's probably the most justified role of the government state, I would say. It's why if my ideal voluntary participation government had one program, it would parallel lease a system of UBI as a means for those who want to use it as a means to share their resources. With that being said, I do think it's important for individuals to have some agency in obtaining their own resources, as entitlement is a major problem in our society today. Thoughts? And I added, the problem with things like healthcare is that they are sadly a privilege and not a right, since they require the labor of others. The same thing can be said about life itself. You need food, but it might not always be there, and you need to be healthy, but you could die of a brain aneurysm at any second. So, life's kind of inherently unfair like that. That's why I think if people want to voluntarily share the resources, I think they should be able to, but I don't think they should be forced to do so, I would say. Then we have, to convince voters you were not a hypocrite. That's cross-post from the r/there was an attempt subreddit by FilmZL563. And I think we kind of talked about that, how Lee Ramaswamy's kind of flip-flopping, and he accepted the Paul and Daisy Soros scholarship to go to college, even though, the Soroses are notorious enemies of the Republican Party. And, yeah, that's the thing with the candidates. They're just nothing but they always flip-flop whenever it counts. That's what I would say. Then we have, better technology in the future could mean a way to decentralization to both economical and governmental fields, from Yeet from Hungary, and I would agree very much with that. That's their self-post they have. It's a little long, so I'm not going to read all of it, but I would agree very much with that. If we can increasingly automate stuff and get access to more resources, that would make it easier to get decentralized, I would say. Then we have, Biden administration coerced social media giants into possible free speech violations, says court, from USA Today. And I posted that, and I said, the the government is getting around the First Amendment. People here find a way to justify it as taking my head because, I said, the 5th District is all conservatives because of Trump or Reagan appointees. But, I believe we should stand against government authoritarianism regardless of which party is in power. And the sad truth is the state will never hold itself accountable. They will just keep doing stuff like this under the table, I would say. Even if they try and make it look like you're being held accountable, they still won't be because they'll just find a way to do this stuff under the table. Then we have democracies about choices and options, not limiting those. You cannot claim to support democracy, you'll be voting third parties. And that was Nina Turner on Twitter in response to Rob Reiner, who tweeted, hard reality for democracy to survive. Two things need to happen. Donald Trump needs to be convicted for Jan 6, and there can be no third-party candidate. And I said, rare agreement from Turner here. Most people don't want democracy, though. Just a one-party dictatorship with the party they agree with. Then we have the pro-war John McCain Institute is such a clear and vivid microcosm of the bipartisan D.C. war machine, created in the name of a GOP senator, run by an Obama Pentagon official, funded by Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, Soros, and Saudi Arabia, from Glenn Greenwald on Twitter, and I posted that, and I said, agreed, the two parties are much closer to each other than they are to the common person. Edit, the left also seems to hate billionaires, it never goes after Soros for some reason. Yeah, that's, then we have Psyop or Real from Afro.com, and that's a story about, anti-chippers are the latest group of awful people we now have to worry about. And so I said I'd lean towards PSYOP, but stuff like this and this, and that's the story about how, we have to eliminate all white people to get rid of white privilege, which I would also say that's a PSYOP, are really hard these days of how many deranged ideologues there are on social media. You don't really know if something's a PSYOP or not because that people are really that deranged, I would say. Then we have Total Criticism Summarized from Connor Boyack on Twitter. And I posted that, and it was Connor Boyack. It was a meme he did. Let's see, raising your kids under your belief system. Yikes! It sounds like indoctrination. Obviously, you should raise them under my belief system instead. And I said, pretty much politics in 2023, and tons of people want the state to help enforce their belief systems as well. And Chlorox said, do you think it's impossible to provide education on indoctrination? Why or why not? And I would say yes to some extent. People are going to be inherently biased, and that will extend to how they teach. A lot of people can't help but push their agendas as well, from what I have seen. Then we have free polls I posted. First we have our Libertarian votes, Uncensored votes, the 2024 Libertarian Party U.S. primary, September 10th, 2023, and I posted that, and I said Michael Rectenwald and Keenan Dunham have entered the race since the last poll of Wikipedia, and the current results are, one result for Michael Rectenwald and 3 for Chase Oliver, 0 for Mike Termat, 0 for Lars Mapstead and Jacob Harmberger, and 0 for other explained comments. So I said, first of these polls I switched my vote for went from Termat to Rectenwald. I like Termat and his take the gold pill / gold New Deal stuff, but he no longer follows me in acts, and Rectenwald's from my home state, and his main thing seems to be pushing back on the woke stuff, which is something I'm very passionate about. Then we have the Democratic primary poll, and that's currently 1 vote for RFK Jr., 1 vote for Marianne Williamson, 1 vote for Joe Exotic, 0 votes for Joe Biden and other. And I said, sick of Williamson, I miss the hippie / new age left that she represents. And then 2,000 times Trump replied, Town Stock and Healing Crystals. I said, I hope so. It looks like the party station is going to read the primary again, like in 2016, 2020, though. I linked to a video from Team County on YouTube about how RFK Jr. says they're going to rig the primary, and that's what they're going to do, like they have super delegates. They're going to say, your vote doesn't count. They're going to reschedule to be favorable for Biden. They'll have, South Carolina first, so Biden will win like he did last time. And they'll find a way to give it to Biden. Even if RFK Jr. gets, every vote, or Marianne Williamson gets, every vote, they'll still find a way to give it to Biden, probably, if he's dead. Just weekend at Bernie's him. And finally, we have the 2024 Republican Party U.S. Primary, Francis Ward says, I was in the race since the last poll. And 0 votes for Donald Trump, 0 votes for Ron DeSantis, 1 vote for Mike Ramaswamy, 1 vote for Chris Christie, 1 vote for Mike Pence, 0 votes for other explaining comments. And I voted for Ramaswamy. I said, sticking for Ramaswamy, I'd still support any LP candidate over him, though. I like how he really pushes back against the woke stuff, and he can disprove a lot of impulse narratives because of his race. I think his rhetoric is a decent blend of MAGA and Libertarian as well. So I think we're gonna, let's see if there's anything new posted since then. No, it doesn't look like it. I think we're gonna wrap it up there, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.